Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hi,
Yes.
Sophie.
Hi, Mina. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. And as you see, I'm Sophie, and I'm together here with Mina. We're the co-founders of Flourish Financially, and we are really delighted to be here for what is not actually a sales webinar, but really a conversation. And we wanted to make it in 30 minutes so that it's as concise as possible. And it's an invitation to look at money differently and possibly join us next week when we start a very exciting course. So if you're here, I guess it means one of three things. You're curious. Maybe you feel something is slightly unresolved around money, or you simply want more clarity, more calm. And all of that, of course, is welcome and more. And yeah, Mina, would you like to maybe say a few words? Say hello.
Yes, of course. Hello, everyone, and welcome. And of course, we'd love to keep this interactive. So you can say hi in the chat function wherever you are watching this from. And for example, you can let us know where you are today or drop a small hello. And feel free to engage during this session in whatever way feels comfortable for you. We're super happy to have your questions and answer them as we are going through this. And we are going to talk today about Women's Financial Health Check, which is our brand new course, and it will start already next Monday.
Yeah, we're getting ready for that. And so we're really excited to see a lot of you there. I mean, we have more than 100 signups already. So it's going to be a very powerful event for those of you who are able to make it. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about that, of course, towards the end of the webinar today on the logistics. But what we wanted to say is really about why this matters, of course. And one thing that we've consistently seen, is that actually many smart, capable, accomplished women avoid looking at their finances. And it's important to realize, of course, it's not because they lack intelligence or capabilities, but it's really often because they are either overwhelmed, maybe too busy, or simply not inspired. And if you look deeper, it's often because these same women don't necessarily feel comfortable with money or in their relationship with money, and they feel like they don't know enough. And I've certainly been there, and I think Mina
Me
as
too.
well. But we realize that money carries emotions, and sometimes these emotions, they are about pressure, they may be about what silent stories are creating in us, and it can be shame as well. And we've heard many things in the time that we've been working on Flourish Financially together with Mina. For example, I should know this by now. I don't want to see how bad it is. I'm think I'm doing okay, but I don't really know. So that's really exactly why we thought we want to create this course, and we created the Women's Financial Health Check. It's not about teaching theory, it's not about doing like a lot of complicated financial calculations, but it's really more about creating a safe, structured, supportive space to look at your finances and find your next steps forward.
Exactly. And it's true what Sophie was saying. We work with a lot of women through our coaching sessions, through our workshops, through our courses, and we also see how women kind of go through this process, which is actually largely emotional before it comes into the actual financials and the numbers. And it often looks like somehow like this. The first step is maybe fear, or it could be also avoidance, right? And then you start actually looking, and what comes out first is maybe some kind of clarity. Often it can be also a little bit about honesty, right? Really taking a good look at your numbers, where you stand today. What does it mean to you? What is possible for you? And then slowly comes confidence, right? Okay, yes, I understand what this is about. I know what steps I can take. And finally, in the end, it is about direction or even flourishing, right? Having a real pleasure in a way of working with your finances, feeling confident about doing it. And more concretely, the shift that happens, it's not just about knowledge, although knowledge is a big part of it as well, but it's a lot about ownership. Ownership of your finances. And it comes kind of from postponing decisions to actually making intentional choices, or from hoping that things will somehow work out to actually really knowing where you stand and what you need to work on. And from money being a source of uncertainty to actually becoming a tool that can support your life. And this is kind of the transformation that we propose here with this course.
Yes, and of course, I mean, this is so powerful what you were just saying, because really if there's one thing that we hope that every woman that joins gets away from, that is also that it's not the numbers that are scary, is really the feeling of not knowing possibly what is going on at the moment. So when you start looking with structure, with care, as we say, with compassion, something shifts. So it's not perfection. It's not, instant wealth. I mean, the numbers are not magically changed, but really we learn how to go towards steady progress, to build, stronger finances from like really the backbone of it, right? And that includes the mindset. So all of this that will support you in the longer term, actually.
Absolutely. And before we go into the what happens in the course, I just want to say hello to some people who are here. Yeah. Hello, Beatrice from Nairobi. Very nice to see you. And we have Veronica from Luxembourg. Hello, hello. And this one we can't see. Good evening. So it's someone, I guess sometimes the
comments... that was me.
Oh, it was that you, Sophie?
So I just put good evening instead in reply to the good evening from Nairobi. But I think we're getting towards that evening as well, I think.
So close. It's kind of late afternoon here in Switzerland, at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
So should we talk about then next, what is the framework that we do in the course? Because I think a lot of people are curious about that. What are we going to do?
Yes, and also that's what we wanted specifically to be today about, to give a bit more clarity. The whole course is about clarity, and now we're trying to give you clarity how you will get this clarity. I hope it makes sense, right? So let's start. Step 1, it's not the easiest one necessarily, but we call it face the mirror. And the idea is really to begin with something that is simple without necessarily being simple, for the reasons that we can imagine already. Looking in the mirror, so we're really looking at what's actually there. So we call this the financial picture, your financial picture. And we try to approach that in a way that is not harsh, that is structured, yes, but also emotionally aware. So it's a very nice first step into buying into this combination that we bring at Flourish Financially, always the numbers with the emotions, or you could say the financial planning with the mindset work. And that's a very important one. So this is really helping to move from avoiding, perhaps, to look in the mirror, to becoming more aware when you're able to look in the mirror. And what is especially important in that step is you realize, after you're going through it, that now you can look at this, or I can look at this without, breaking down or freaking out, depending what version you get. So that's one thing. And the other one is, of course, that you're able to understand now what these numbers are telling you. So that's quite a powerful moment, and that's the first step. That's really the foundation for everything else that you may want to do, continuing that course or continuing further.
Yes, I really love this first part because it is like such a good tool. We are going to look at the balance sheet, right? And I think every woman should have their balance sheet. It's such a powerful tool. But let's go to step 2, which is understanding the flow. So here we're going to look more at how money moves in your life, kind of the fuel, let's say, to your financial engine. So what comes in, what goes out, and what your life actually costs, right? Because knowledge is power, right? When you start looking at this, you actually begin to understand where your actions are working, right? Whether they are building momentum towards more financial freedom, or whether they are actually not so much helping you, right? And with consistent small action, you can really change a lot of things. So make that momentum grow. And you can see the path more clearly, and the future you're trying to create also becomes more tangible. So sometimes this may feel quite ambitious, right, to be actually trying to build more financial freedom, but it can also feel quite concrete and within reach, that it is possible. And here's when something important happens. It moves kind of many women from being, I should be better at this, or I'm not very good with money, to actually saying, hey, I can choose differently now. I can take steps towards more financial freedom. So that is the step 2.
Yeah. And this is so important, right? I mean, we see this time and again. I mean, I see this with other kinds of coaching, but it also works, of course, wonderfully when it's about money. This impression that the fog is lifting a little bit. And so even if you see it's a long way ahead, at least you realize now, well, I can sort of get on that way. I can get somewhere, because you know that if you take one step after the other, you're eventually going to get there. So, but you're right. Let's talk about step 3 now. So step 3, we propose to look at measuring what matters. So it's interesting because, of course, we have talked a lot about numbers before, and now we're talking about things that are almost beyond the numbers. And we want to talk in this particular step about health and well-being, and that's really the specific Flourish Financially paradigm on how we approach financial health, how we approach financial well-being. And we propose here to talk about really this part of flourishing in a holistic manner. So the idea is, how can you really be more fulfilled in your life through working out your relationship with your finances? And that's quite an original way, because many people come to this work because they want to feel less of negative, stress and these kind of things. But we're explaining here at that stage, once we are able to lower actually the negative emotion, because as we see with step 1, with step 2, we're getting closer to the truth. Maybe we have started to forgive a little bit ourselves, be more at peace with who we are. And now we're able to think, actually, what if I could really become even more fulfilled in my life through that? And that's where we have designed actually a specific tool that's called the Flourishing Scale. And we're going to propose it here, and we're going to go through it together. And every person can see then how actually how deep the ramifications of our relationship with money can go. And it's a very nice way to look at, there are 8 dimensions to this tool. And so we're going to look at them in turn and start reflecting individually, what does that mean for me? Where am I in my life? So we're measuring, but it's beyond the numbers, and that's interesting. So what we can do with that is, of course, we don't want to be judging. Again, it's going to be a much more empowering approach. And it can make you realize where we are maybe strong, where we are more possibly exposed, where we could be wanting to be making progress, or maybe where we're already doing better than we initially thought. And that's another way of the fog, in a way, lifting a little bit further and realizing how, so it's almost a play on words, but how rich your relationship with money really is in your life. So we love this step because it's one that can really bring a lot of insight and perhaps surprising insights to people when they think about finances.
Absolutely. This is so key because, as we have seen in our coaching, in our courses, time and time again, the numbers tell a certain story, but it's not everything. The number on the bank account can be big or small, but how you feel about yourself and your finances can be totally different, right? So this is what completes the picture, and this will really give you a very strong foundation, actually, to understand where you stand and what you can do next. And then we, of course, go to step 4, which is kind of creating your prescription, right? Since we're talking about a health check, where we translate all this clarity into direction. And it's not going to be, a 50-step plan that will overwhelm you. Of course not. But it's really to take all of this, what you've worked on, these tools, and decide what you want to focus on, what you want to let go of, and then what is the next smallest step that will create the biggest shift for you. And this is very different from each person to person, right? But it will allow you to get from scattered, from scared, from insecure, to more focused, clarity, empowered place. So this is where kind of the confidence becomes real. And of course, we have worked with dozens of women, right? So we have here also the tools that can help you, such as the Financial Foundations checklist, right? So this will allow you to really get very powerful prescription for yourself on the steps.
No, so of course it would be the end, but it's just the beginning. So that's what we always realize. So we're trying to make it as concise and powerful. So there's a lot of insight, and we're also going to share the worksheets. We're going to be really guiding people to feel it in and get the results for themselves. And then, yes, I mean, then the rest of life is really about working on that flourishing and making all of this a reality. So, and you have already understood, I think, for the people who are with us today, maybe if you're watching this replay, and that's something that is really at the heart of our mission with Flourish Financially. For us, we're not really creating here a traditional finance course. That's really not what we're doing. What we're trying to do is bring things together. So we really love that it's multidisciplinary in that way. And more specifically, we're bringing together financial planning tools and that expertise with the numbers, with the concrete, indicators, with how to do it step by step, but also the science of positive psychology and maybe more all the emotional part that goes with that. So the idea is how we can become more aware emotionally, cognitively, all these words that go with the mindset. So you make sure you're really helping yourself on your way towards, the better numbers. So that's a very individual way of saying that. So qualitatively, the better numbers for you, but also the better life. And yes, we believe really deeply that money is never just the numbers. And I think most of the people that we talk to already have that idea, that inkling. It can be so much more, and it can really help us with working on our identity as a woman? Do I want to be seen as an investor? Do I want to become that person that takes care of finances? And of course, then it goes through all these different emotions. How can I bring myself the safety, not in an unhealthy way through money, but how do I create that safety that is transcending the numbers? Also freedom and looking into the future. So that's something important. And yeah, and of course, one thing also that we realized in our work is how powerful having women's only spaces can be to bring about that change, to bring about that conversation that is really yes, it's collective intelligence, and this you would have in both in groups with both genders, but there's also something about women getting together with women and discussing these topics that have been considered for so long as taboo.
Absolutely. And maybe then now we shall move to the practical details as well.
Yes.
So we wanted to give some information on just briefly kind of how this will work in practice. Of course, we will also send the information via welcome email to everyone who joins, but just to answer your questions. So the course will run for 4 weeks, right? From 23rd of February, 2026, so next Monday until 22nd of March. And how it works is that each Monday morning, you will receive a link to recorded video modules. And these include kind of the lessons and the guided activities, and you can watch them in your own time and work through them at your own pace. But we recommend to get started right away on Monday or latest on Tuesday, because then every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central European time, so that will be in the evening in Europe, we will be hosting then a live 60-minute Q&A session where you can come there to join the community. You can ask questions. We will answer all of them as much as possible. You can reflect with us, you can go deeper. And it's great if you have already finished the video modules and the tasks related when you come into this Q&A session. If you can't join on Wednesday evening, no problem. We will do a recording and you can watch this later on. Also, we will have this private LinkedIn community, our own LinkedIn group, which is there for reflection, for questions, and exchange throughout the 4 weeks course. So if you can't join the live Q&A, you can also ask their questions anytime, and we will be answering them to you. So that's another way to get supported. Another important thing is our vault, what we call the vault, which is where all the documents and the video modules will be stored in an easily accessible and organized way, so you can just go through them one by one in a very effective way. And they won't be long videos, right? We are really trying to make this very compact to give you the maximum impact, because we know you're also very busy. So that's how it will work.
Yeah, I was going to say that like, we're making it a point that each lesson really has a clear outcome and a clear activity, and we really make this succinct. So it's actually really bite-sized. That's the wording. So you could actually decide to do, one small lesson, the first lesson in the morning, then you can do the other lesson in the evening, and you will have the corresponding worksheets. And in total, it should not take you, hours and hours of work per week at all. That's not the point. But we want that as much as possible you commit to that, so you can really make sure to obtain the outcomes for you, and also that you're able to engage with other people, so it takes you further. And that's really what we commit, that if you follow all the steps, you will really experience a transformation already from this short journey in a way, but that's already significant into financial flourishing. So that's the proposition here, really.
Exactly. And as we are getting closer now, right, we will be sending the detailed email in the Friday, right, which gives out all the information, right, the schedule, the links, what to expect. So if you have not registered yet, this is the moment to do so, right?
Yes. Absolutely, absolutely. So we're bringing on the screen the QR code. You can do it like that. You also see there's a rolling banner on the screen where you can find on our page, on the events specific page, you will see at the top there is the proposition to join the course. So it's very simple. It's fortunately for the ones joining this first course, it's beta version, so it's completely free. What we're asking is, of course, to do that with the best intentions at heart for all the participants, so that you're sharing also your feedback with us, you're providing constructive comments on the structure of the course, and also that, of course, you're working with the other participants in a way that is conducive to that experience for everyone. So I think
this is, sorry, please.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yes, this is very valuable for us, because it's the first time that we're doing this. It's quite a new approach for us, and we really want to help as many women as effectively as possible. Absolutely. And that's why also, like, your feedback is super valuable to us. So we know, so we're going to ask after each module feedback, what was good, what wasn't, what we can do next, so that we're really serving you exactly what you need from us to be able to progress where you are at that point.
Yes. So as you said, yes, we're taking the feedback very seriously. In a way, it's a chance, it's an opportunity as well to be shaping that for you, first and foremost, because you're embarking on that journey, but then also for the future of that community, and for your next steps too.
Exactly. So if you are doing this sign up now, then please make sure you complete the registration, right? Because there's a second email where you need to click to confirm, and only that way we can actually provide you with the materials of the course. So make sure to check that. Maybe it's in your spam folder as well, right? So that's a good thing to check.
Yeah, and make sure also when you fill in the form, you're double checking maybe your email. We saw that a few people, we know we're not naming names, but there were typos in the email addresses.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, it happens when you fill it in very quickly. So just if you don't get anything like as asking for confirmation or an email telling you you're part of the course, that's not good. It means something is lost there. So just if that's the case, of course, you can find us, DM me, Mina, send us an email, hello@flourishfinancially.org. That's one of the ways. And if you're joining us live, we have just 1 minute for maybe quick, urgent queries.
Yes, we would love to answer your questions. If you have a chance to enter them in the chat, please do so we can answer. From Beatrice, it will be very late for the Q&A. Yes, with different time zones, that's understandable. But Beatrice, the replays will be available, and we'll really look forward to having you on the community on LinkedIn, to be active there and ask questions and share your insights. So that's another good way to stay connected to the community. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, I think that's what we wanted to say, that we'll be picking up the questions that we see are frequently asked or coming through the LinkedIn community. So if people know they're not able to join, for example, we're going to be taking maybe a few minutes at the start of the Q&A to address those, right? I think that was the intention.
Yes, either we answer directly in the chat or in the community if it's something like that, or then we can also address it together in the in the live Q&A session.
Okay, so that's it, no? I mean, we're getting to the end of that short snapshot session. It was a pleasure to be there. For us and for you, we want to say again that financial clarity is really not a luxury. We see it as part of your well-being. Almost it's self-respect to some extent, and you don't need to be perfect to begin. So just feel safe enough to start, and we really hope to see you soon with us on Monday on video. That would be a bit asynchronous, but otherwise on Wednesday at the Q&A, the live Q&A. So don't wait, register, and we look forward to seeing you.
We really look forward to seeing you there. It's going to be a very fun and lively 4 weeks. We can't wait to get started. So see you very soon. Thank you, everyone. And
Thank you.
Thank you very much for
See
being
you
there.
then.
We will see you soon, indeed.
All right. Bye-bye. Cheers.
There is